This week in 40K.
Do you want to listen to it again? You want to groove for another 30 seconds, or you think we're good?
I was enjoying the groove. For those who don't know, my shoulders bop during the intro music.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your favorite 40K morning show that's about the grimdark and neither grim nor dark. He is Billy, and I'm Colin, and we have a light week. Turns out the holiday season is upon us.
Yes.
And I have an idea for what we're going to do about that for next week.
Okay.
Because next week we will have no tournaments to talk about, is my
probably not
estimation.
Yep. Yeah. And maybe the week after that too.
It could be. The New Year's weekend might not have tournaments, is what you're saying. So I have an idea for next week.
Started doing good. Until we started doing a weekly show tracking the seasonal fluctuation of tournament attendance, I don't know I necessarily would have had this information, but yeah, apparently not a lot of people playing 40K right now.
Yeah, so I have an idea for next week, Billy, that I thought I would wait and present to you on live, or at least as live as we are. So What if next week we did an award show and we handed out awards to our favorite piece of 40K news from the year, favorite competitive 40K player, person who we feel like played the most lists. Why don't we make ourselves a bit of a silly award show for next week, and we can finish up the year of 40K with kind of a retrospective. What do you think?
Fun.
Okay.
That would be fun.
It might take more prep than we normally do, but I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can do that on the fly. I might actually have to prepare for that.
No, for sure. But I've already, even as you're saying that, I'm thinking we have this list, our show notes has every show we've done. And so that's, a sortable and searchable thing. So that could help.
Right. So, okay. That's what we'll do then. Next week on This Week in 40K, it'll be the end of year competitive retrospective. Great.
Look at us all fancy with big words and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Fictitiously Famous and Alka-Seltzer are both here, which is good because I often have stomach problems in the morning. So I'm glad that Alka-Seltzer is here to participate. With that, I'm going to ask Billy, what's going on with Billy? How you doing?
Billy's doing well. As you can see in the background, this is actually a real background. This isn't fake. I came to my parents' house for about a month for the holidays in Tucson. Yeah. And life is good. Not a lot of 40K playing right now, mostly just holidaying, although trying to figure out what I'm going to do for LVO, and had a moment of seeming intellectual breakthrough over it last night, but I need to actually put the list together. Yeah. How about you, Colin?
It looks like there's a picture of them filming Holy Grail behind you. Other side. That larger picture on the desk from here looks like they're wearing the exactly. It looks like they're wearing the night outfits from. I'm sure that's not what it is. I'm just saying that from this far away.
My sister's family will be tickled by the fact that that's what it appears to be.
Okay, wonderful. And happy Hanukkah, Billy.
Oh, thank you to you as well, and to all who celebrate. Third night coming up. It's one of the reasons it's my favorite holiday is it's the one time of the year I allow myself to play with fire. I am a pyromaniac, but I never let myself indulge because things would burn to the ground. But on Hanukkah, I like.
We were at a local store and we saw a flamethrower that can throw fire 35 feet for $200. And I thought that's a really good price for a 35-foot flamethrower. And the idea was we would use it to melt the snow in my driveway.
I saw a video of someone doing that. It was making the rounds on social media. Dude, just flamethrower in the snow.
Basically, my entire family agreed that I should not be allowed to own a flamethrower. There was a discussion about it, and I didn't do well. They thought that possibly, I'm not careful enough to have a flamethrower. So I don't have a flamethrower.
Well, you and I have been playing Destiny, and I can assert to your accuracy in aim. I don't think the aiming would be the issue here. I just think that private citizens owning flamethrowers is one of those weird loopholes in the American legal
Okay,
system.
come on, liberal man. We don't
No,
we
it's
don't
just
need your liberal bullshit right now.
you're allowed to own a flamethrower. Who the needs a flamethrower?
It melts your snow.
Sure, and Lord knows I want one, but
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
I immediately sent a picture of it to my brother, and he said, "I want that, and you should not buy a flamethrower." That was
I
his
think that's
response.
really. I think those are the two correct responses.
Yeah,
I
I
want
want
that.
this.
I should not have it. Yeah.
Pardon me.
No.
I want to be clear. 35 feet is much longer of a throw of fire than I would need. If I were to own a flamethrower, that seems like an aggressive distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a first down. That's what that is.
It's a comfortable first down. It's
Yeah.
a distance that Geno Smith is unable to move the ball against the 49ers defense.
No, we're not talking football anymore.
Okay. You
No.
said first down. You opened the door.
Okay.
And the one thing we were talking on football, at some point there's a bet that needs to be honored.
Okay. My team is in fact terrible, and yours is great. Moving on.
Yes.
But my team has been better for more time than yours, so I'm gonna rely on that.
In the recent history, that is true.
We've won more games than you in the rivalry. I thought you knew that.
In recent history, that's true.
No, period. You can look at the overall. Can we move on and talk about 40K now, you whiny 49ers fan? All right, here we go.
Our top story.
All right, organized one. What's our top story?
I thought about it again, short week. I think by far the biggest story in 40K is the fact that Henry Cavill is executive producing and starring in a 40K show on Amazon. I think it's impossible to say that anything else that happened in the last week is as big of a deal for 40K as that.
30 to 19.
I can fanboy about him for a lot. Okay. That's over a very short
it's not
period
even
of
close. What? That's since 2002 because we weren't
over.
in the same division previously.
Oh, okay. We can very happily set arbitrary starting points. Henry Cavill is making a 40K show, Colin.
Yeah, it's true. First he left Witcher, and the internet went, he left Witcher, and then they put another attractive man into Witcher because evidently that's an important part of the lead for that show, which is weird. But he left Witcher to go be Superman again. What's that?
But then he's not for anymore either, apparently.
No, and he's also not going to be Superman. They've decided to do a new cast for Superman. So then everybody was like, oh, well, why'd he leave Witcher then if he's not going to do Superman? And then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm making a 40K TV show for Amazon, which is, I think it was Amazon. Which is really exciting. And in particular, it's exciting because while I haven't loved all the fantasy and sci-fi shows that Amazon has made, none of them are bad that I've watched. They aren't making trash. They're putting budget into their shows. If you didn't like Ring of Power, that's what it's called, right? Rings of Power. That's fine. But you can't argue with the budget and quality effort that they put into it. You can't argue with the acting and the cinematography and the budget. And so I personally watched the Dungeons and Dragons movie in the 80s or early 90s and was entertained. You can make a thing out of my IP and just try and I'll be entertained. I don't care if this is good. We need I'd like it to be good. But what we need is a mainstream 40K thing that people are interested in, because that's how your hobby hockey sticks. So in business, we talk a lot about linear growth, right? Which is like this. And then a hockey stick is like a hockey stick, right? The farther forward the farther more successfully you get, the more it increases. And so that's how hobbies get crazy, like Harry Potter, that was a book that children read and then became this massive phenomenon. So what we need is media that gets this could be the biggest thing that's happened for the popularity of 40K in a really long time, since video games started doing 40K, probably.
Right. But the thing with video games, and I want to build on that because because it's one of the two main reasons I think it's amazing. The reason that I loved the Game of Thrones show when it came out was it was an opportunity for me to talk to just normal, not fantasy sci-fi fans about my favorite story. And it really, it just let me share this passion that I have with people who otherwise would just have it pass. Oh, that's something else.
Right.
Game of Thrones let me do that. And now, now my wife has dressed up as, despite having never watched the shows. It gets that level of cultural penetration. I'm not saying we're going to get the same thing.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. What did your wife dress up as?
As Daenerys Khaleesi. She like for the season 8 premiere, she put on the whole thing, got a little stuffed dragon on her shoulder, sat down in front of it, and said, "Who's that on the show?" It's like, that's who you're dressed up as.
You broke up while you were saying that because I was really hoping it was going to be something ridiculous, like you were going to say, "Yeah, my wife dressed up as Khal Drogo." Like, no, she's extra in a lot of different ways, but she conforms to traditional gender norms. But anyway, so that's the one thing, is it's going to just let 40 fans talk to non-40K fans about it. And that's just across the board a good thing. The other point I want to make is the reason that's why I'm excited broadly that something like this is happening, but specifically with Henry Cavill, the adaptations that have frustrated me of IP that I love, and I'm going to just list some out: John Carter, Ender's Game. I had 2 or 3 more when I was 2 in particular are 2 stories that I love Troopers.
That the people make. What? Starship Troopers. That was the
Starship
third
Troopers.
one. Starship Troopers. Those are IPs that were made by people who had no attachment to the source material. They're just like, I want to make Jurek this, and just sort of slap a sheen of the IP over it. Henry Cavill understands 40K and is not, it's going to be, we will recognize it as a 40K story. And that is also exciting to me.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, guys, Billy's at his parents' house for the holidays and his connection is not great. So please forgive the audio hiccups that he's having. I can understand what he's saying, so I hope you guys can as well. That's the idea. Yeah, I agree, and I think that Henry Cavill has a love for 40K that's been talked about before. And one of my friends that doesn't follow 40K said, does 40K even have an interesting enough story for a television series? And I said it has about 4,000. The amount of stories they could pull from here is massive. Now, I think that we are going to go into my least favorite nerd activity, which is someone's going to make a show and all the people that have read the books are going to be mad at the television show. No matter what it does, no matter what happens, they're going to be mad about it. It is not going to meet their expectations. It is not going to have, there's going to be a difference between the story and Black Library's account of something. Like it's going to be a roller coaster for some of the more aggressive neckbeards. So that'll be interesting. But I do agree with you that Henry Cavill loves 40K and he's an executive producer on the show, so that should help. The only thing I would warn you about is that the most recent trilogy of Star Wars was made by people that love it. And I would argue that while those movies are entertaining, that they are not quality movies.
Broadly agreed. That's a much longer and more complicated conversation to have. And while we do time on this episode, all I will say is that I actually defend Last Jedi. I don't think anyone should defend Rise of the Sith because that was just bad fan fiction.
You like the final one? Because I thought it was trash. Like it was entertaining, but what a terrible.
No, that's the one that I'm saying is it's the only Star Wars content I have ever consumed just once. I watched it once. I don't really remember too much about it other than it was horrible, and I never watched it. So
you're saying that you like the one with the casino planet. That's what you're saying.
I like that movie. That's the one part of that movie I don't defend. I think the rest of that movie is actually quite good. And I think a lot of that movie got pilloried for problematic nerd reasons.
Well, their friends are in incredible trouble, and they do decide to go hang out at a casino planet and have a long, slow conversation about their childhoods. I'm just saying their friends are going to die, and they're under a timer. Just saying. And also, I understand you're not going to defend that part of the movie. Okay,
yeah, that part of the movie's bad.
I also appreciate, I will say one thing about that movie that amuses me. Usually in a movie like Lord of the Rings or anything where you've got a collection of main characters and they split out on their own adventures. Usually those own adventures meet up at the end and everybody ended up being important. The people that go to Casino Planet don't do anything that advances the story or accomplishes anything. They just go and do some bullshit that doesn't matter and then show up at the end and like, hey, we had an adventure as well. It wasn't relevant. So, anyways, there you go.
The new trilogy created an interesting character in Finn in the first movie and had no idea what to do with him in the second two.
Fair enough. All right, are we good with our so anything else we want to say about our top story?
I look forward to it. Probably don't expect it for a couple of years, but
yeah, it takes a long time to make things like that.
Yeah.
Is he going to be a Space Marine?
I don't know. He's got the build for it. I mean, the man was Superman and like legitimately looks like Superman. Yeah. If he's not a Space Marine, I'm curious who you would cast to be the Space Marine without their helmet on.
Yeah. Okay.
Like if he's a normal human, who's more superhuman than Henry Cavill?
Right. A bunch of our 40K people in the Discord were having a conversation about this, and they felt that starting with Space Marines would not be the way that the show would go because that's going to be Space Marines is going to make the show more expensive. So they thought the show would start off being about the Imperium and Henry Cavill would be an Inquisitor or some sort of Imperium character. And then somebody said he should be a Custode, and I don't actually disagree with that.
Well, and he himself, plays Custodes, loves Custodes. I agree with all that. The thing that I would say is that I think a huge reason that Game of Thrones was as successful as it was is it tricked normal people into thinking it was The Sopranos with swords occasionally. Like it was just a basic regular story
that might have no dragons. They're talking about dragons, but there might be no dragons.
Right. It hid a lot of the fantasy, and that makes it more accessible. If we, if the opening scene is, the betrayal at Istvan 5 or whatever, that's just people are going to look at me like, that's pretty, but I have no idea what's going on. A little bit.
They're going to have no investment in what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. So that would be my note and guess. But honestly, I have so early in my life had that neckbeard moment of this is my IP and they are killing it. I'm past that now. Just give me something. Let me talk to normal people about a thing I love and I will be happy.
Okay, great.
What's new?
What's new, Pussycat? Whoa. No,
not
that's not an okay intro.
Of your songs.
The way Billy reacted, I think that was not an okay intro to this segment.
Okay. I think that was just the internet stuttering. I was perfectly fine with it. I was going to say, what's new is not your enjoyable musical entrees. But otherwise, there's not a lot. The Rogel Dorn, the big tank for guard, got an article that actually didn't seem to answer any of the questions anyone has about it, as in, when will it be released and how big is it actually? But you got to see the kit. That was cool.
I guess.
I can tell you experienced all of those emotions, excitement at seeing the article, and then, this is.
I had the stomach flu for most of last week, so I actually didn't even see that this news happened.
Okay. So it was teased with a little bit more detail, and they talked about how they made the kit. Go enjoy. There was also a 30K Land Raider with a giant siege gun in the middle of it. It's a new plastic kit. If that is what floats your boat, enjoy it. the rumor mill is spinning on what the data slate and changes are coming, but nothing is confirmed. So enjoy those rumors, engage with them to the extent that you want to.
Billy,
we have nothing.
I heard a fantastically dumb rumor last night.
Oh, please.
Yeah. I don't believe this is what's happening at all, but I heard it from 2 different people in 2 different chats last night. And they said, that flamers in the data slate are moving to not be auto hit and using their ballistics gun. Not the flamer gun, but the flamer chaos demon.
Oh, I thought I saw that they were moving to
that is
D3
literally called a flamer. The rumor is the thing that is called a flamer will have to roll ballistic skill to hit things. And man, that does not pass the smell test for me and leaks. Because that seems like a really dumb way to balance that unit when you could just raise its points, which is all it actually needs.
I agree with all that. I think I saw somewhere that they might be moving to D3+3 as opposed to D6+3.
That's actually a good solution for them too. Both of those solutions are better than making the flamer unit not a flamer unit.
Yeah. It's just so much, even at D3+3, that's so many dice to have to roll. It's just like, that's a bad gameplay solution. Flamers will change, but who knows what.
People like rolling a lot of dice, Billy.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a lot.
Is that everything that's new?
That's literally everything that's new. GW is taking as much of a Christmas vacation as the rest of us theoretically are.
So in January, we're going to get a data slate. We're going to get a mission pack. I expect both of those things to be massive changes. They are, and in fact, I have some information on that. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a big change. Neither of those things will be at LVO. And in order for the guard book to be at LVO, the guard book has to have its actual release before their rules cut off, which I presume is soon.
Yeah.
So my concern, and I think this is a concern that other people in the community will share with me, I think LVO is going to be that LVO will be the big end of season, someone wins the IT hoopla that it always is. And I think it's going to be entirely and completely 100% irrelevant for any analysis of 40K. Because the game is going to change enough that when LVO ends, the moment on Sunday when the tournament's over, the game of 40K will be different than they played at LVO by a massive amount. The guard codex is wildly broken, folks. So you're basically saying that one of the biggest alpha predators in the game can't come to your party. We're going to have a party. You can't come. You're too good. That's not why they can't come. That's not, by the way, I should be clear. I don't think Frontline has done anything wrong here. I think that they are in a crappy situation, and there is more people at work than just Frontline in making these decisions. I think that they are getting input from other sources, but we're going to leave it at that. So I'm not bashing Frontline at all. I do think that tournament not having any of the new rules is rough, and it actually is an issue with the timing of that tournament. Not an issue with them not accepting the rules. The reality is that tournament, people are already painting their armies right now. Like you can only mix it up so much. But the downside of for those of us that obsessively follow competitive 40K and want to know what's good and what's not and want to nerd out over lists and players, it's not going to be that. And that really, really disappoints me. I'm really sad about that. I think that that's an incredibly unfortunate thing for the community. It's also a problem that has to be resolved as we grow. That can simply not be the way the biggest tournament of the year is. It cannot be, this is the old rules and here's a bunch of new stuff, but not this. So that's my thought there. And then, of course, the rumors that are so loud that they are deafening is that in the summer of next year, we're getting 10th edition and we're all being indexed. That's what we've been hearing. Is that true? Who knows? But we're not a Frontline partner, or we're not a Games Workshop partner. So if we hear rumors, we can just talk about them.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I'm hearing is data slate big, mission book big. and then 10th edition big. That's so over the next 6 months, I'm anticipating that 40K changes really, really a lot. And it's going to be incredibly fun to be here with all of you every Tuesday morning to kind of map that progress. I'm really excited about that. So, yeah, and Billy's going to LVO. So you guys can go, you can hug Billy. That's the thing you can do. I just invited strangers to hug you, Billy.
I accept. There's a world where I'll be masked during the whole thing. I have to just see what the whole COVID situation is. But yes, the current plan is that I get to go to LVO. And I'm looking forward to it because I've had tickets to the past 3 or 4 of them that have happened, and I've had to cancel each and every time. So I'm looking forward to meeting people.
Somebody has left us 3 comments.
Have they?
And I don't know what these comments mean. I think someone is talking to us in code while we do our episode here. The first message says, thumbs up, done host. I think that's well done, hosts.
Yeah.
Great. Then I dropped 2 banana in your house.
I mean, I have a guess at what that means. And I can attest that no one has used the facilities in my house in my earshot recently.
Okay.
And then host returned back.
Host returned back.
Hi, Yaraki Street. Nice to meet you. We're confused. If you want to clarify.
Bananas go bad quickly. I would prefer nobody drop bananas in my house.
My mother makes phenomenal banana bread, and they need to be a little dead.
Yes, so you want them to be a little bit bad. We do that as well. We make banana bread when the bananas go bad. Yeah. Okay, onward.
Mm-hmm. What's winning?
A small number of things. We have
small number of
tournaments?
Players. 4 tournaments.
4.
And
all right, and I've only been assigned 1 because Billy knows who he's dealing with.
Well, right, and the bottom 3 were so small they normally would miss our cutoff for what we would talk about. But if you can't tell, folks, we're filling time in this episode, so
which is fine.
Yeah.
People
and
like
there are some names of people you would recognize in the bottom 3 tournaments. But yeah.
What is a talent that you have that the community may not know? Do you have a stupid human trick that the community might be interested in?
I really don't. My talents are more like intellectual. Otherwise, I'm fairly normal and not talented.
Okay. All right.
Do you have a good? I mean, people know you're an amazing singer. I assume.
I am an encyclopedia of music.
Yeah.
That would be the main thing that people might not know. But I sing all the time on things, so I don't know.
Right.
I was just trying to do one of these. I was just trying to stretch the content here.
Yeah.
I did get to sing the Animaniacs Nations of the World for my children the other day because
that's fun.
Because I have that memorized. It's the United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic, Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia. Yeah, I can do the whole song. Okay. Onward with my tournament analysis. 4, Rise of the Empire GT in Houston, Texas. 75 players over 6 rounds went to Texas the weekend before Christmas when they were supposed to be spending time with their families. And they played 40K, and some of them won. I feel like it's fair to say that Texas is a zany meta. This tournament is in Houston, which is one of the nicer cities in Texas. But their meta tends to be crazy. They tend to make arbitrary rules decisions for tournaments. No offense to Texas. You can make whatever rules you want for your tournaments. But I don't know what's different about this tournament, and I feel like that is a incredibly good disclaimer as we talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, another Colin has won this tournament, Colin McDade, with a dominant record of 6-0, and he did it with sisters, which I think is extremely interesting. And his sister's list is, in fact, a Bloody Rose list, so that's not that interesting. And there's nothing magical about it. It's got 3 units of sisters. It's got 3 units of 8 Repentia. It's got 8/6/6 Zephyrum and 3x5 Retributors, but with only 1 Rhino, which means those Retributors are outflanking or starting on foot.
Yeah. And so are some
Uh,
of the Repentia.
what's that?
So are some of the Repentia too.
Yeah, lots of this is starting on foot.
Yeah.
But indirect fire is not really a thing. If they didn't allow the guard codex, I don't think you have to care about indirect fire. Pardon me. And then obviously Vol and the canonists. No Celestine in this one. But this is a very standard list. Like this list is like if you had an AI bot read all of the Bloody Rose lists that have won and like make its own. Like this is a very traditional Sisters list. I would say that what we're seeing here is that Sisters are still pretty good and have good secondaries, and that Colin McDade is good at 40K. I think those are the things that we're learning here. Second up is Creations of Bile, went 5-1. The player that we're dealing with here is it's George without an E, Billy. Without no E at the end. So is it Georg? Georg Bobkov?
Could also just be a typo.
Oh! I just remembered a thing we're supposed to talk about. Hold on. This is important. I'm going to check my notes. Checking my notes. Okay. Last weekend, we mentioned an individual named Sam O'Brien. And a friend reached out and said that I used the masculine pronouns for Sam. And that Sam identifies with female pronouns. I want to apologize to Sam because that's a thing that Billy and I are very sensitive to. And I am 43 years old and sometimes I mess that up. So I apologize. It is going to be difficult on this show to figure out genders by just reading names for people we don't know. I am going to effort to use they as a pronoun to be protective of people's right to be whatever gender they want. And if you think we're being too, whatever term you want to use, woke or whatever, this also matters for literal girls that play 40K. At LVO, there will be like 6 or 7 girls playing 40K. Like there are women. There will be women playing. Well, they might be girls. They could be like 15. I don't know. But women play 40K, and we don't know by looking at names who they are. And so we're going to try to be more careful about that. But I want to apologize to Sam because that was a disrespectful and a presumptive thing to do that is not at all how Billy and I want the world to be. Right, Billy?
Absolutely. And if I can extend for just 1 second on that.
Of course you can.
It's been one of my very consistent feedbacks for this network is just a bunch of dudes. I would love there to be someone on this who's not just part of the bunch of dudes. It's hard because our community is overwhelmingly male. And I promise you it would be a better place if that were not true. Which honestly, again, going back to that top story, part of why I'm excited for Henry Cavill is I just know that will excite some non-males to pay attention to the hobby. It would be a better place if we had just more types of people playing the hobby. And so we are going to try to focus on this. And honest to God, if there's anyone who doesn't identify as male, who is interested in being a content creator, that's something we'd be interested in. I'm speaking just good. So that was my 2 bits on that.
So I think that's an important thing for us to do better about, and we will. So I also forgot the segment on what the network is doing. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to finish this tournament, and then we'll do a network update, and then Billy will do the final 2 tournaments to read us out here. Okay, so Jorg. I'm sorry if your name is actually George, that's good too. This is a Creations of Bile list that went 5-1. It's pretty standard. He's got a Demon Prince and a Master of Possession. He does have 30 cultists, which is more than we normally see, 3x10. He has 2 big units of Chosen. That's still a weird thing that seems very regional. Some people are all about the Chosen. Out here, they're not, so I haven't played against them as much. And then a big unit of Terminators, not surprising there. He does have 1 small unit of Bikes. I really like that as a fast unit to go do stuff, and that small unit of Bikes does have a lot of guns and a fair amount of punch. So I kind of dig that as a utility piece. I think that's cool. And then he has his Zinch detachment with an Exalted Flamer, a Changecaster, and 2 units of 4 Flamers, which, fine. Oh, 5 Flamers. 2 units of 5 Flamers. But still, okay. Fine. So, good job, Georg. Your list, your bio list is neat. Next up, Brad Townsend, who is a a person I've actually met at traveling to tournaments in the past, from Big D Energy, which I enjoy. And Brad Townsend brought Thousand Suns. Thousand Suns continued to be a very steady, solid performer at tournaments. This particular Thousand Suns list does have no Terminators and a lot of rubrics. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units of rubrics. It has 15 Chaos Spawn, Billy. 3x5.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. And then Changecaster and 3x5 Flamers. So what this list is doing is a lot of durability and mortal wound production, while the Chaos Spawn probably get the invul power on them and then run out and do stuff.
Yeah.
Spawn do punch hard, so that's not terrible. The problem with those Spawn units is that they don't have an invul without the power being put on them, and without an invul, they really die.
Yeah.
The
one unit you juice up with the -1 to hit in the invuln is shockingly durable, and the rest of them fall over to a light breeze.
Right. And then fourth place is Robert Moreland. Robert Moreland brought himself some Custodes. They are the I don't know what faction this is. It says Emissarius Imperatus. That must be one of them, huh?
Yeah, I've seen that somewhere, and I have assumed the same thing.
Okay. Sorry, guys. 40K has a lot of rules. Billy and I can't know them all. He has Codias, which is the CP and the annoying CP guy, who also gets psychic powers. It's not a bad pull. Lots of Custodes let's play with him. And then he's got Shield Captain on Jetbike, shocking. Trajan, shocking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 3-man units of Custodians with their bolt calivers. Then he's got a Contemptor Achilles Dreadnought and a Vexillus Praetor. Then he's got 2 more units of Praetors of 3. And that's it. That's what we got. So, yeah, that's what happened at Rise of the Empire GT. 5th place was Guard. Let's see if it's the new book. I'll be able to tell. Let me bring the list up. We're going to talk about the 5-in-1 Guard list that was performed by Dirk.
Just Dirk?
Kira Kowitz.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Sorry, Dirk. I don't know I'm just going to call him Dirk Bentley because I love the TV show.
Sure.
Dirk Bentley's Holistic Detective Agency.
Not familiar.
Okay. This is not new. This is old.
Okay.
This is old Guard.
Okay.
Yep, old Guard. Okay. So let's give a little bit of a network update, and then Billy will cover a few small tournaments, and we'll be all done.
Yep.
Oh, we got some people talking here. It's Emperor's Children without the AP spike on 6s. Thank you. Army-wide fight first and ignore modifiers to hit and wound. Okay, that's cool.
That's fun.
Yeah. Army-wide fight first on Custodes is really saucy because they all punch pretty well and they're durable. So that makes it kind of hard to decide where you want to fight first.
Yeah.
And it means you can't effectively double charge them. Is really, as 2 Ynnari players, that's really the advantage of fight first, is it makes it hard to multi-charge you.
Yeah.
Okay, network update. So this evening, at some time that I don't know, but my phone can tell me, we are going to record the original show that started us on this wild roller coaster, The Best in Faction. And I'm going to tell you guys what time we decided on. 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock today Pacific, which is in some number of hours. Math is hard. 9. It is in 9 hours. We are going to do Best in Faction. And we're going to do a special holiday episode that is unscripted. We have no agenda. We have not put any thought into what we're going to talk about. We are just going to wing it and see what happens. And I think it's going to be an absolute riot. I think we will talk about all the things currently happening in 40K in a random order, and it will be wonderful. So that's what's going to happen there. Next week, we will be back for the year-end wrap-up this week in 40K. That'll be great fun. We also have a lot of changes coming in January, and I'm not ready to share any of those, but We've talked about the fact that the original plan for the network, a lot of it worked, some of it didn't, and we haven't steered the ship back to make sure that everything's working again. We've got problems in a few different areas organizationally. We're working to fix all of that. We're working to produce some more content. We're working to put more stuff behind into the members area. All of that should be ready to go in January, and I'll cover it in more detail. We also are putting a system into place where Billy and I will know all the content being created for the week, so that we can share it every Tuesday morning on this show and let you guys kind of know what's going to happen. That's kind of what's going on. We are trying to. I recorded 2 bit reps that I told you guys all about that are both into Votan. We are attempting to make the first one into a bit rep, but neither of them were particularly interesting games of 40K, Guard versus Votan. We're trying to put them together and get them up. Sorry that it's taken longer than we anticipated. So that is a network update. I hope that you guys will join us live for Biff Pod Unscripted this evening, which I think will really be a hoot. I think it's really going to be funny. And if you want to get us talking about stuff, just come and talk about stuff in the comments, because we will absolutely run with it. That'll be great. So that's what's going on there. Now what we're going to do is, are we really going to talk about a 23 and 20 person tournament? Is that really what we're going to do?
We're going to talk about a 26 person tournament first.
Okay.
You know me. I know how to be brief. Do you have another topic you would like to discuss?
Always, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'll run very fast, and then we can discuss whatever you want to discuss. Or we can discuss your thing first.
No, it's okay. I just don't know that we need to be the show that covers a 23 and 20 person tournament, but go ahead. You're fine.
I had thoughts on how to do this relevantly. Basically, at the 26, 23, and 20 player level, bring what you want. But my note would be, know the kind of terrain you're playing on, because, for example, at the Odyssey Games Store Championship in Pasadena, I'm sure Odyssey Games is a wonderful store. I'm guessing their terrain tends a little on the lighter side because it was Tau Imperial Knights as the top 3. Now, I recognize Mark Ferrick as a name of the second place player. So quality players there, and I'm sure they earned their victory, but know the terrain you're going to if it's going to be a smaller event. First place was Jason McKenzie with Tau. Borkan, no planes, only 1 unit of suits, a unit of broadsides, a bunch of random stuff. Mark Ferrick, second place was Farsight, and actually I saw more Farsight this week than any other Tau. It had Farsight, it had 2 planes, 1 hammerhead, bunch of suits. Mark Mang, third place with Imperial Knights, Free Blade, so 1 paladin, a lot of dogs. Fourth place was Kyle Norman, Demons, 1 Bloodthirster, 1 Lord of Change. Seen more Lords of Change recently. Makes me happy. I love that model.
It is durable.
Changecaster. What?
It is durable.
Durable, yes. Changecaster, 30 Bloodletters. Seeing Bloodletters really rise to the top of the small demons. 6/6 3 Flamers, and then some assorted random stuff. And then Tyler Russo in 5th at 3 and 2 with Gaz Goffs. 3 kill rigs. Kill rigs seem to be much better now. They were pilloried at the start. I'm seeing a lot of things.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Next tournament, Fight Before Christmas 2002 in Dixon City, Pennsylvania. 23 players, so really bringing it out. First place, Michael Butler, who apparently is on Art of War. I'm not familiar with the name, though.
Wonderful human being. Normally, he played elves.
Okay.
No,
yeah, he played clowns.
Yeah, he's very into elves. My favorite thing about Michael Butler used to do streams with Nick Nanavati in the early days of Art of War.
Okay.
Because when Nick lived up in the Northeast, Michael was one of his nearby friends. I like Michael because Michael has a what's the thing where you say this? You say things. There's a particular thing that you personally say too much, an adage maybe. But what he likes to say at the table is feels good and feels bad. And Chuck and I have adopted those because they're amazing. While you're playing 40K, just say out loud, feels good, feels bad when things happen. It's great. It's great fun. And sometimes I'll go, oh, feels good. And Chuck will say, really? Because feels bad, which I think is great too. So Michael Butler is a joy and a wonderful human. So that's my assessment of Michael Butler.
And we wouldn't have had a chance to talk about him if we didn't do these
He's also
events.
very smart and often plays an elder list that doesn't make sense to other people.
This one makes sense. It's light clowns. It's 8 boats. 1 unit of 2 bikes. It had a Death Jester. The thing about it, it was a beautifully formatted list. It was easy to. I think he was actually personally typed, but it was just easy, concise. No one needs a lot of info on clowns. Great job, Michael. Okay. Second place, Jesse Newton with Chaos Knights. 1 Megara, 9 dogs. Don't often see Megaras, although it's an amazing data sheet. Third place, Mark Benning with Bugs, Leviathan. He had 2 warrior squads, which we haven't seen since the rules changed there, but he had them. Also 2 Carnifexes and a Tyrannifex, so a little bit more on the big bugs. Chris Martins, I assume had a very good time because he got to bring Ultramarines and go 4-1. Bobby G, 3 Redemptors, 1 Volcon, bunch of Eliminators and Eradicators. He enjoyed Bobby, telling those guys to shoot well. Chris enjoyed it. Tyler Brennan, 5th place with Admech, not something we see often. This was the Lucius Army of Renown. So just a bunch of Skittles and 4 Laz chickens. So that was the Fight Before Christmas 2022. And then finally, the Clumsy Orc GT Christmas Special in Silsden, England. This was a massive 20-person event. First place was Kyle Grundy, Tau. Farsight, 2 Riptides, 2 suit units, no planes. Worth discussing briefly the second place, which was Joshua McHale with Votan. This was, again, Emir. 1 unit of 10 Berserkers, and then a big unit of the Terminator Dwarves, the Thunderkin, I think they are. But the 450-point Terminator Dwarf unit. Only 1 land train, and then 5 bikes. So not a lot of the transporty stuff. A lot more just dwarves on foot, which I think is interesting. Kenneth Knott brought Drukari, 2 Blackheart detachments, 1 battalion, 1 patrol, all of the good stuff, not quite as much Strife Witches because he had no Strife. But, no real surprises there. 4th place, Chris Taylor with 1,000 Suns. This was actually just 1,000 Suns, no demons. So 5 units of Rubrics and 20 Terminators. And then 5th place, Jim Maynard with Creations of Bile. Jim brought a Disco Lord. He had 15 Possess, Abaddon, 10 Terminators. That's what you expect. So that was the Clumsy Orc GT Christmas Special in Silsden, England. The message is, especially at a smaller tournament where you're probably going to know the meta, play what makes you happy, know what the terrain is. Enjoy yourself. Colin, you're muted. Colin, you click the mute. Yep.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm loving life.
Are you?
Yeah, life is actually
I can't help noticing that you're wearing a very attractive and likely extremely comfortable This Week in 40K t-shirt. And
yes,
I would point out that nobody but Billy and I have bought This Week in 40K merchandise, and that hurts us a little bit. My feelings? A little bit challenged. Do I tell? I've got 2 things. 11 minutes. Okay. Funny story about Colin being stupid.
Sure.
Okay. And then tease about a new show coming in January to the Best in Tabletop Network. Which order would you like them in?
Start with the story, because a tease can be very short.
Okay. I have a pool house. It just happens that my property has a pool house. It's a large wooden building with a swimming pool inside of it. The issue with this building is that it doesn't ventilate well. So I have to leave the doors open, because otherwise, when the pool's really going and the cover's not on it. Anyways, so I had a birthday party last weekend. Whole bunch of people swam. At the end of it, we let our lab swim in the pool, which is great fun. He loves it, but he leaves so much hair in the pool that we have to let the pool have its cover off in order to clean itself. The problem is it's like 25 degrees outside. And the way humidity works is it's about the delta in temperature. So this pool that's 90 degrees, and when it's 30 degrees outside, created a problem. And the biggest problem was that Colin has ADHD that he struggles with. And sometimes when a thing goes out of Colin's vision and thought, he forgets about it. And I forgot for 4 days that I owned a pool house.
Oh, Jesus.
I presumed that it was put away and ready to go, and it was not. And when I went in there, it was raining inside the building. Not hard, not like East Coast torrential downpour.
Yeah.
It was, but more than misting.
Okay.
Like no one would have walked into the room and said it's not raining in here. And the Tiki Lounge, in fact, had so much water dripping from the ceiling that the water was red from the stain in the wood, in the puddles on the ground. So I ruined several things. Mm-hmm. The most concerning of which is that the exhaust pipe for the furnace that heats the pool has in fact fallen apart. And it has rusted holes in it. So in order to fix that for the short period, there was a lot of HVAC tape and Colin and Stephanie trying to make that thing work. So anyways, that's a silly story about Colin being dumb. If you have ADHD, set a lot of reminders on your phone. It's the only way you'll function.
Mm-hmm. Also, maybe don't leave the door to your pool house open in the middle of December.
I didn't have a choice. It had to, the one night that it had to be open, but after that I needed to close it up, and I just
that's fair. This was more of a public service announcement to the community as a baseline way to operate. Doors to pool houses in December should default to closed.
Yes, also because you don't want to pay for the pool to be heated through the cold.
This makes sense. Yeah. That's a good story though.
That building is heated by 18,500 gallons of water. It's not heated by a heater, right?
That's fair.
Yeah. Anywho, that's my silly story. I am the most unhealthy physically and mentally a little bit, but mostly physically, that I've been in my entire life.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm not good at dealing with this. I've dealt with it multiple times in my life. I know exactly what needs to happen, and I'm bad at it. I'm just bad at it. I'm a little bit of a hedonist, a little bit. I want joy and life and love and fun, like all the time. And I'm also a comfort eater. And I'm also a deeply anxious and sometimes depressed person. So there's a lot going on that gets in the way of me losing weight. That said, I'm 43 years old. And the worst case scenario that I can imagine in my life is me dying of a heart attack or a stroke early, and leaving my wife with the level of bullshit I've created to deal with. Right? Yeah, the 40K armies, the video games, the I pay all the bills. I have logins to everything. Like, it's bad if something happens to Colin. Like, she needs my help raising these children, and everybody loves each other, and they shouldn't have to lose me. So I have other friends like this that feel similar. This will be the first time in my life that I will try to get healthy for me and not just to get a girlfriend. Like, when I was single, it was very easy to lose weight because I tended to prefer the women that were fit, and they wanted me to be fit. So it was easy. That's not where we're at now. I've been with my wife for almost 7 years, and it's 7 years in the first week of January. Actually, we're almost there. And she doesn't care really at all. She wants to be healthy, but she doesn't care about my weight. She likes that I'm big. Anyways, so what we're going to do, I need support in this journey. And I also am pretty good at vulnerability. So what we're going to do is we're going to make content about this. Several of my out of shape gamer friends are going to participate. I don't know what this is going to look like. Is it going to be weekly? Is it a segment on something? Is it its own show? I don't know, but I want to pull together 40K nerds, and I want to talk about mental and physical health and the best way to rally and turn it around. And I want to do it regularly. Danny McDevitt is going to try to participate. Billy's interested. I know Chuck is interested. We'll probably get some Mitch. Mitch has got really good ideas on how to manage your health that are different from everybody else's, because that's how Mitch rolls. So we're going to try to get a bunch of people together, maybe a rotating cast of hosts, not sure. But starting January 1st, if you would like to join us, we are going to do a community get healthy activity. It's not going to be a competition. We just talked about it, and we don't think that that's the right message for this community. So also because y'all are really competitive and we don't need that. If you want to take this journey with us, we are going to let you tell us about your health goals as you go, and we're going to share them from people and from and keep an eye on how this community does it together. So I'm going to start a health club, a virtual internet health club for 40K, and we're going to do a show, and you all are welcome to join me. You don't have to be in the Discord to participate. It's just going to be a thing that's very important to me, that I'm going to share with y'all.
Yep, I've been looking forward to it. I've been telling my family, and this is how I've been trying to keep myself accountable on that front. My problem is I'm bad at internal accountability. I'm really good at external accountability. So I just need someone else that I care about saying this to, because I can lie to myself really easily, but I don't like bullshitting other people.
Have you ever learned to meditate, Billy?
I cannot meditate. I try and my brain just doesn't go quiet.
Yeah.
It's actually the opposite of calming to me when I try to meditate.
Okay. It's really hard for me as well, but it's one of the better things for how my brain works.
Okay.
And one of the things, and I have the same problem where my brain goes, woo! But one of the things that they give, one of the things that meditation experts give as advice is when you find your mind drifting, don't be hard on yourself. Don't chastise yourself. Don't tell yourself you're bad at it. Just steer yourself back. And I want that to be the motto of this health challenge.
That's good.
I don't want to beat up people for not doing the thing they said they're going to do, but I'm looking for Billy to help me steer back.
Sure.
When I come on a show and I say, I have done a bad job this week, I have had ice cream every night, I want Billy to say, you know that you can do better than that. Just do better starting today.
Yeah.
I want that to be.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up. The fact that you're caring about it and paying attention to it, that's the success. We need to set achievable small goals. The goal is not to lose 100 pounds. The goal is to today do something good and to slowly build up those habits and to really try to find the wins in it. And don't hurt yourself on the losses.
I probably should lose 100 pounds, and I will probably settle for more like 60 or 70. I'm always going to be a big guy. I don't like the body weight chart says I need to be 130 pounds less than I am right now, and that seems excessive. But I could easily lose 100 pounds. I'm about 320, 330 right now at 6'4", so I'm a lot of Colin. But the thing is, and this is really a big part of how I'm going to look at this, I cannot do a diet. I cannot do a thing where I'm going to crash and lose weight over a short period of time, because I will just get fat after it. The change that I need to make permanent life changes to my life. I need to make permanent changes to how I eat. Permanent. Not for a while, not cut out all sugar. I might actually cut out all sugar to get rolling. I haven't decided that yet. Okay. But long term, I'm not going to cut out all sugar. I'm going to try to make a lifestyle change, a significant lifestyle turn that allows me to permanently make these better decisions. Good. And because that's what I actually need. I don't care how quickly I lose the weight if I'm doing the right stuff to lose the weight, and I know that eventually it'll come off. Yep. I'm not in a hurry to lose weight. I'm in a hurry to feel better. So, by the way, you can feel better in a very short period of time by making better decisions, exercising, eating better, getting good sleep, all the stuff that's important to your health. You can feel better immediately if you start doing that stuff. You don't have to lose the weight first.
It's one of the frustrating things is that like natural highs are actually real. You just sort of have to work at it. And especially when you haven't been working at it in a while, it's not fun to start. But,
and by the way, if anybody says the saying to me, no food tastes as good as feeling healthy as being healthy feels, I'm going to punch them in the face, because that is just not true.
Yeah, there's some good food out there.
Yeah, it's just not accurate. They've literally created an entire industry of bullshit food in the United States that's specifically designed to addict us. Like it's specifically designed for us to eat it in our brain to go, oh my God, this is amazing. Yeah. The idea that food is not more delicious than being healthy is not the way that I'm going to lose weight.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's coming. It's very important to me. I'm happy to share it with you all. If Billy will remind me, I'll give you guys an update on that next Tuesday, and we can talk about what's happening there. And I have to now go find the bananas that Yerki has dropped in my house. There's 2 of them.
Curious.
I don't know where they are, but I have to find them. Maybe I will find the shelf while I'm
I was going to say
it.
they're right next to the shelf.
Yeah. Guys, for this week in 40K, I'd like to say we said Happy Hanukkah already. Whatever holiday you believe in and celebrate, I hope that you have a wonderful one. There's 60 something different holidays over the month and a half of December and January. It's a lot. For those of you that do celebrate Christmas, which is what my family, I was raised in the Christian faith. My family celebrates Christmas in a big way. There's snow on the ground, which is unusual for right before Christmas for here. We have about 5 inches of snow right now. So I am getting revved up for Christmas. We've decorated the house extensively. I'd like to remind everyone that we don't tell the people that we care about that we love them often enough. And this is a great time of year to do that. Please call everyone that's important to you and at least chat with them for a few minutes and tell them that you care about them, because a lot of people are super alone right now. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah to everybody. We hope you have a wonderful and safe holiday. He's Billy. I'm Colin, because someone has to be, and we'll be back next week for This Week in 40K. Happy Holidays, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.